Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. In the course of the British parliamentary debates about the endless war, this doomed effort in Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires and of many good people who should not have died there, be they British, Russians, U.S., NATO, Canada, and so forth. One of the things that's brought up is we're told that the reason for Afghanistan is that it's a staging area for Al-Qaeda. Naturally, Al-Qaeda is the CIA Arab Legion, founded by Robert Gates, the current head of the Pentagon, and set up really in the Carter administration and then into the Reagan administration. This was the policy at the time, and this has not changed. But if you're concerned about, if you really argue that any failed state with Islamic population could become a staging area for terrorism, then what about Somalia? Somalia is a very large country, lots of population, very much a failed state, more so than Afghanistan, and there's no push to occupy them too, is there? If anything, to use piracy by Somalia as a means of militarizing the waters around there as a prelude to interfering with Chinese naval traffic. But if you really think that every Islamic country that happens to be a failed state or has been made into a failed state by the Anglo-Americans through their economic warfare in particular, Somalia collapsed during the period of the economic sanctions associated with the first Gulf War. That was the end of the Siad Barre regime in Somalia. Well, then you'd have to invade Somalia too, and they don't seem to want to do that. They rather used Ethiopia. They played Ethiopia against Somalia to exacerbate the conditions in both of these places. So I think that's the story on the foreign front. Now, in terms of domestic economics, I want to recommend this very good website, the Black Agenda Report, and their Black Agenda Radio that goes with it. Look at Obama's betrayals on the domestic economic agenda. This is very, very significant. Obama gave lip service to a series of economic measures. For example, the cram down, meaning that because of these exorbitant interest rates that are built into adjustable rate mortgages, how do you free people, or how might you free people who have been enticed and trapped into adjustable rate mortgages that then close on them like the jaws of a bear trap, and then the interest rates begin to go into the stratosphere because they are governed by some foreign monetary exchange like London Interbank Offered Rate, LIBOR. Well, that's the cram down, and Senator Durbin went through the motions of trying to assemble a majority in the Senate to get the cram down passed. The cram down would allow federal judges to reduce the interest rates on existing mortgages and also reduce the principal. And then we had somebody like Senator Tester of Montana, a great friend of mortgage lenders, as usual, saying, no, a deal's a deal. Well, a deal was a deal for the United Auto Workers until the union was busted by Obama, and they've given up their wages, they've given up their health care, they've given up all of their package of benefits. They've been driven down to the level of sweatshops in Alabama and Mississippi and other union-busting right-to-work states, low-wage states. So a deal's a deal unless you're under attack by the Obama regime. Obama invested no political capital into the cram down, and now apparently the Obama administration in the past week or 10 days has formally abandoned any notion of doing anything to reduce the mortgage interest and principal. This only points once again to what I've been calling for: ban foreclosures, stop foreclosures, uniform federal law, clear, orderly, legal, zero foreclosures for the next 5 years, or for the duration of the world economic depression, whichever lasts longer. People stay in their homes. Wall Street is now glutted with bonuses. They eat the losses. Wall Street can easily eat the losses. Take the mortgage write-offs and take them out of the bonuses for the fat cat quants and derivatives mongers over there at AIG and Citibank and so forth. That's economic populism. And if you're not talking economic populism, you're talking economic suicide. There's no middle ground anymore. You've also got, what was done to the automobile industry, cynically driving them into bankruptcy. Look at all those empty dealerships around America. Look at all those big paved lots that used to be full of cars that have now turned into people that are trying to eke out a miserable existence as used car dealers. And we have that all across the country. Glenn Ford, writing in the Black Agenda Radio and Black Agenda Report, calls attention to the card check issue. Now, I'm in favor of the card check. The card check is simply an attempt to redress the balance, to restore some viability to the trade union movement after 40 years of reactionary Republican attacks. Above all, stupid Reagan busting the Air Traffic Controllers Union, leading to a generalized rout and defeat of the U.S. labor movement, meaning the destruction of that power that they had accumulated under the 40 years of the New Deal, let's say from about 1933 until 1973. By the time Reagan came around about 10 years after that, he busted that union. You can say, yeah, but those unions are evil. Well, they may be, but management is evil too. So the entire U.S. system, if you look at the separation of powers and the way the government works, is based on the idea of taking conflicts and institutionalizing them so that both sides cancel each other's evil elements out, and the result is something viable. So I would support anything that's going to increase the viability of the trade union movement. And card check, why not? If a majority of the people in the company check a card, why do you then have to have an election under the corrupt and employee and boss-controlled National Labor Relations Board? And this is what Glenn Ford writes about. He says that the card check portion of the Employee Free Choice Act appears to be dead, yet more proof that a promise from Barack Obama is essentially worthless. The word transformational, writes Glenn Ford, should be purged from any discussion of the Obama presidency, as should any positive comparison between Obama and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Absolutely correct. If FDR's presidency can be summed up in a few words, it was a period in which the power of the labor movement was greatly enhanced in effective partnership with the man in the White House, while a safety net was established that allowed working people the security to exercise those new powers. That is why the reactionary Republicans, the pro-fascists, the Mussolini lovers, the Tojo lovers, and the Hitler lovers were all such raving Roosevelt haters. Obama seeks something different, an accommodation that leaves labor at an extreme disadvantage with vastly increased powers of finance capital. Back in a minute.